Hi everybody, it's Casey Williams. I think Teslas, their minimalist design, are pretty cool. But if I was going to buy myself an electric crossover, I'd want something with a little more classic elegance than that. A car that still has all the technology, still has everything you expect in it, still a really fast powertrain, but something that just has just a little more class. Something like what we had this week, the 2023 Genesis Electrified GV70 crossover. Let's go look at it. The GV70 is Genesis midsize crossover. It'd be comparable in size to like a Tesla Model Y. But as you can see, it is a totally different looking animal than that. I really like Genesis design. I think their designers are some of the best in the industry right now. Just make some very nice looking cars that, again, still have those classic lines on them and just really combines all in a way. It's just really compelling. I like the headlamps, like the twin lights that come around. I like the big grille. And when you look closer, you can see there's actually not a grille here. And again, it's an electric vehicle, so you don't need one. And this is really the only thing that just clearly differentiates a gas GV70 from an electrified one. Press the button, this little panel opens up, and here's the plug inside of it. So very easy to get to it. I like the front access. You can come right up to the plug, and then you go. But coming around the vehicle, again, I just really like the style of it. It just looks very sporty, looks a little bit Jaguar-ish in a lot of its proportions. 20-inch alloy wheels, and it just squats down over them. I really like the swage line that comes off of the hood and comes into the body side and all the way back. Again, just really has that dynamic motion look to it as you see it sitting in the driveway. The back window, some people like this, some people don't. I've kind of grown to like it. It looks a lot like the Porsche 928. And again, it's something unique. It's a different rendering on this. A lot of crossovers, kind of this split pillar thing that's going on. So I'll give them that. I think it looks really cool and looks appropriate on a sporty crossover. And again, just the twin tail lamps come around, just wrapped in. Everything just looks just like it's almost like a concept car in its execution. Really like it a lot. So this isn't a large crossover. Again, it's kind of a mid-size crossover, but really kind of more on the compact size. But I think there's still enough room back here. Certainly get enough luggage in here for 2 to 4 people for a week away. Back seats do split, fold down. You get the bicycles in and get your larger gear in here too. When I mention having all the latest technology, but classic elegance too, this is really what I'm talking about. It has all the technology you expect in a modern EV. It starts with the screen. You got a dual wheel controller to go through navigation, satellite radio, all your media inputs. This has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, has a Lexicon audio system, sounds really crisp, really clean, love it. Also have the phone connections up there. So this works really well. And normally I don't like joy wheel controllers. I think it's kind of like trying to drive a computer going down the road. This one works really well, functions really well. I'm also usually a big fan of having proper volume and tuning knobs. This one, you've got a tuning roller here, and volume roller. So again, you really get the same functionality, and it's all right here with your hands. So you can control this, volume tuning, just all right here. And what I really like too is this has a distinct feel to it. These have distinct feels to them, the way they're created and formed. So I just like it. It just works out really well. Back behind that, here's the gear selector again. Sometimes I reach down and change the radios. I'm trying to get the car into reverse, but it works out pretty well overall. Down below, touchscreen for the climate controls. This has heated and ventilated front seats. It's got heated rear seats, a heated steering wheel. This also has a massage function, and it has powered bolsters. So when you're accelerating, it'll kind of cinch you in. If you're in the corners, it'll cinch the bolsters in. If you go faster, it kind of pulls you in. So it actually changes the shape of the seat a little bit depending on how you're driving the vehicle. I think that's pretty cool too. But I just like the kind of way it's shaped. You know, it's very practical too. It's very stylized. It's very concept car in the way it feels, but also very practical. Nice deep cup holders, nice roomy console here, wireless phone charging. I like the flat screen instrument cluster, but it has the analog gauges, but I like that. There's also a 3D effect on the highway. Has the adaptive cruise control, so you can see that. They just did a really nice job with it. I also like all the stitching and the contrasting colors, the gold piping here on the seams. And the leather, this diamond stitch, everything just feels very expensive and feels very nice. Some of the safety gear I really like on it. It has a heads-up display. I think that's really nice, especially when you're using adaptive cruise control and some of the safety systems. You can see what's happening out in front of the car. Just kind of hovers out over the hood. This does have all the safety systems. Has automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, blind spot warning, rear cross path detection, all of those. But it has 2 other systems I think are really good. It has the child seat minder in the back. Actually, there's a motion sensor to tell you if your child's in the back. Some of them just can't count the doors. This one's a little more advanced than that. And it has a system called Safe Exit Assist. So it uses the blind spot system, and if a car is coming down along the side of the car as you're trying to get out, it will prevent you from doing that. So again, I think the look of it's very nice. I like all the technology, and it's also very safe too. Well, the best part about driving a vehicle like the GV70 when it's electrified, it's just the smooth, quiet, effortless performance of the vehicle. I mean, it's quick. 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds quick, which I think is pretty good. It's got all-wheel drive, so it gets power to the ground and just jets off. Horsepower, this has 429 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. And basically a mid-sized compact crossover, plenty of power. One thing I do like though, there's a button right here, it's called boost mode. That ups the maximum horsepower to 483 horsepower. Press that, it'll give you 10 seconds of all-on boost. Range is not terribly impressive in this one, 236 miles. I did quite a bit of driving. I drove from Indianapolis halfway to Cincinnati and back, a couple hundred miles out on the highway. If you keep the speed, 70, 72 miles per hour, you'll see that range. You start hitting the throttle and having fun with it, it's going to be considerably shorter. But it is a lot of fun to drive. And it's a heavy vehicle. You can feel that it's heavy, but you put it in a corner and it sticks pretty well. I like the suspension system. It actually reads the road in front of the vehicle and then pre-adjusts the suspension as you're driving the vehicle. So you start going over rough pavement and you just notice you'll have just a little rough pavement and then just kind of just smooth itself right out, and it's really nice. But I really enjoyed driving it this week. And again, that boost mode, 0 to 60, 3.8 seconds, you're going to press that a lot. And given the recharge time, you can press it a lot. So this charges 10 to 80% in 18 minutes, which is really, really excellent for this. So overall, it's just been really a joy to drive it. So you might imagine that this is not going to be a cheap car. So a normal gasoline-powered GV70 starts about $45,000. The electrified version starts at $66,500. This one all in, $74,350. But when you drive this vehicle and you spend every day with it, with perhaps the exception of the range would like to be a little bit longer, I think you'll find it lives up to that price. Well, next week, what another fun car? And until then, storm forward.